Sports, when you've got a great ball club. Sports, when you're leaving it all on the field. Sports, when you like your team's chances. Sports, to survive and advance in sports. For the teams you love and the teams you love to hate. Oh, it's Sports Channel 8. Sports Channel 8. Hey! Hey! Hey!
The Sports Channel 8, the radio show. Josh Goodson from home. I'm in my studio. And the Weather Moose is dragging a baseball field. I mean, should we just leave him on there and just watch it and not let him talk? What do you think, Goodson?
I love it. Yeah, leave him on the whole time. But I also want to get the I don't know if agronomy is the right word, but I'm gonna just say that it is. But I want to know the agronomy of what he's doing.
Agronomy?
Is agronomy the right word?
I don't know. I'm looking it up. Oh, agronomy, like with an A.
Agronomy.
Okay, I was thinking with E. I thought you were like combining economy and ecology or something like so. So
agronomy, the science of soil management and crop production. So I assume something that he's doing with dragging a baseball field is like you take that in like second level like agronomy class.
Well, until it just fell down. It was an awesome visual. Now it's just getting worse. Moose, fix it. Moose, fix the camera. There we go.
Look at him.
Look how happy he is. He is loving life. He's
peak living, boys. Peak living.
Hey, does Moose real quick? Does you're doing agronomy? We've already discussed that what you're doing is a form of agronomy. What exactly does dragging the field do outside of just not making it a hazard to play baseball? I assume that's the biggest thing, right? Is it just that people don't fall and trip, or is there something? Is what you're doing like punching a green to where like you're going to tell me in 3 weeks like the baseball field's going to be perfect?
No, well, the primary purpose is to create a uniform playing surface, Goodson, so you don't get any abnormal hops or skips or bumps and knocking kids.
But Moose, any like local little baseball field, like you have to have that. Like that's part of the nuance and the substance of a local. I was driving by a soccer field the other day in Nightdale.
Yeah.
And it was literally like the center of the field to the sideline of the field was probably like 12 feet in difference as far as like levelness and such. Like you need stuff like that.
That's fair. And we also out here at Preston Little Tar Heel League have little rocks in here. So I don't know how much dragging this sucker's actually going to help. But we do what we can for the youngins. It's the Moose out here doing work for the community, baby.
Look how happy he is, dude.
Yeah.
He could literally do this for his job. Like go work for a rec department and just draw foul lines all day and drag baseball fields.
It requires very little thought.
Give him a John Deere. He loves the fact that it's like 85 already at 10 in the morning. Like he's oh yeah, I can sweat. That's good.
Hell yeah.
All right. Well, let's actually talk some sports. I don't know, Moose. We don't want to keep you from your work, but feel free to chime in.
Is there a tournament coming up, Moose, or is this just normal like Princeton Baseball League maintenance or wherever the hell you are?
Say it again.
Is this a tournament or is this like normal Princeton base? Like, see, that's the other thing. Moose is like the guy that like he goes drags the field even if they did it yesterday.
Got to drag it again. You can never drag a field too much.
Monday is my scheduled day.
Unbelievable. All right, the Canes have advanced in the first round, or advanced to the second round. How excited were you about Game 7, Goodson? Look at Moose just out there yelling.
It was great.
Distracted. You were throwing a party.
I didn't watch a lot of it.
Swain was at junior Canes practice.
I'm always like a little, I don't want to say I'm a naysayer, but I'm always one to like think of a moment and be like, was it that cool? Was it really that awesome? And so my brain instantly went to, okay, cool. They've won 4 games. They got to win 12 more. Like, it's a part of it's like, how do you even muster up the motivation, enthusiasm, and all of that's involved in to do it again whenever you're literally only 25% of the way to whatever goal you want to get to. To me, it'd be like hitting a buzzer beater in like your opening round NCAA tournament game. Like, it's cool, but you haven't won anything.
I thought you could say it's like a halftime buzzer beater.
Yeah, maybe.
Wow, that was awesome. But now we're up 2, and we still got to play the second half. I feel like the hockey playoffs have felt even longer because normally the hockey and the NBA playoffs are going on at the same time.
Yeah.
And so, like, the NBA playoffs feels like we're getting close to a final. There's only 4 teams left. And then you turn around, it's like hockey's not even like cranked up. We had 7 game 7s this weekend or something. It just feels like it's a long.
I was also a little. I feel like if you're going to go through the whole game 7 stuff, it has to go to overtime.
They're saying you sound like
it was like a boring game. Like, there was nothing. And I know Boston scored like with 20 seconds to go, which kind of made it like a game. But I feel like if you're going to go through all the game 7 in hockey, there's nothing like it. This is the most ridiculous sporting event in the history of the world that you'll ever be a part of. It's got to go to overtime.
Well, and it did in Flames Stars and Rangers Penguins, I think. Yeah. So, like, yes, that's If you're going to compete with all these other game 7s, you got to go OT, or I mean, at least 1, if not 2 or 3 OTs, to make this really about that hockey life. Do you have any feelings towards the Rangers? I feel like this is. I realize the Rangers. They're a more prominent team. It's New York, and I'm sure they have some stars or whatever. But I feel like it's very similar to a couple years ago when we won the Washington series. And it was like, now you're telling me I got to feel that strongly and be that into the Islanders who we play next?
I feel like the Rangers is a little different. I feel like it's more of a brand. Even though it's funny, like, don't the Islanders have like 17 Stanley Cups like in their history? Like, that's the funny part about it. Like, I think the Rangers are known as like, it's like Yankees and Mets. The Yankees are the New York team that people care about. Like, so I think when the media talks about teams and fans, and you probably see how many people are fans, like the Rangers are like the more popular brand of the two. Thus, I think it makes it a little bit of a bigger, more exciting game, just from a, if you're looking just for excitement and fun. Like, people love when the Rangers go deep, or they love when the Knicks are relevant, and they love when the Yankees are relevant. So I think for me, that'll actually make it fun and exciting.
I mean, are you going to go to a hockey game in New York? I mean, it's Madison Square Garden. That's bigger than either the Canes or the. I mean, you go there just to experience the Garden, my man. Also, sure. we're dangerously close to being able to see up Moose's shorts right now. So I'm hoping that he keeps the angle. Well, that swamp ass is in effect. So yeah, just keep the angle pointed up. And now,
hey, if you want to see that, you got to go to my OnlyFans.
Moose, you would crush it on OnlyFans. But from the perspective, Goodson, of I get that playing the Rangers is a bigger deal than playing the Islanders, but when we played the Capitals, it felt like we had established a little mini rivalry with them at the time. Yeah. Like, same thing. Like, the Bruins has been like, this is our playoff nightmare. We can't get past the Bruins. Like, we can't.
There's no bad blood. There's like no bad blood. And I guess if anything, like, there's more bad blood with Buffalo. Like, that's more of like if we were playing Buffalo and they were relevant, there's like a bigger, oh my God, like, we're playing Buffalo, screw them. Buffalo fans are going to be everywhere. And I think, like, Rangers fans have a lot of fans too. Like, if you go to Rangers games, like, there'll be a lot of Rangers fans there. But no, to your point, it's a little bit, it's not like a little bit of a drag to a touch.
I need like four fights in the first game to like drag me in and be like, okay, I hate that guy and I hate that guy.
I don't know who to hate. I have no clue who to hate.
So commenters, give me reasons.
Probably would hate Tony DeAngelo if he was still there.
Who would?
Well, not me.
Okay. No, Canes fans, yes. So we grabbed.
Canes fans do hate Tony DeAngelo, but like, that would be like the number one guy. Like, he could come in and like do something shady the first shift of the game and be like, that's the guy we hate.
Yes.
That's our Marchand this series.
Yes.
We're going to dislike this guy. I don't know who that is. I'm sure Swain could tell us. It's like, there's somebody on the Rangers that fits that mold, but I don't know.
All right, good question here. But the famous sign that in round one, I should have had it to put up here, but there was the kid standing behind Abby Labar that just said "Go back to Cary" with the Bruins logo on it. He was ironically wearing a Phillies hat. But where do New Yorkers live around here? Are they in Wendell Falls?
No.
It's a great point by JJ. Tony D has already punched a Rangers player.
Right.
Yeah, but no, give us reasons to hate the Rangers. I don't even know who their coach is. Like, is he a jerk? Does he complain a lot? What should we hate about the Rangers? And I don't know where would Rangers. I feel like Rangers fans live in like Wakefield.
Yeah, I was gonna say Wake Forest or like North Raleigh-ish or something. Like
they got new money. They got big houses. They're like living up there on Wakefield Plantation or on the water up there somewhere. Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like we're getting consensus on Rangers fans being in the Wake Forest, Northern Raleigh, Wakefield to Wake Forest area.
North of 540.
Yeah. They see that ever since they moved here, they're like, oh, when are we going to complete 540? We need to get a loop around Raleigh. Like, they don't even recognize the belt line is down there. They're like, oh, no. Or even worse, they live inside 540 and they think that's inside the belt line. They're like, oh, yeah, I'm inside the belt line. Like, no, that's not what it is. I'm trying to think of anything else. Is there any other cleanup for Canes? Bruins? Is there a little bit of almost like you were talking about, like there wasn't overtime? Like there wasn't
a good game.
There wasn't a whole lot of drama. Like I almost am like, why did Boston stop doing the things that was working for them? Like, why didn't they continue to try and be pests and pick fights with us if that's the only way they could win? Like, Marchand scored, I think, at some point, but like I don't remember him like doing anything notable in the
games. If you took them all separate, all kind of stunk.
Yeah.
I guess maybe Game 7 didn't because again it was close-ish. It wasn't like a 3-goal lead in
the first
third
period was all nip and tuck. It was 0-0. The Canes got one, which made you like a little bit of sense of relief, and then the Canes went up 2-0. And after that, it was like relief, 3-1, okay, whatever, 3-2. Nervous as shit for 20 seconds, and then game over. But like, yeah, there was not. There wasn't a third period, 8 minutes where it was tied. Everybody's throwing everything at the goal. So, and then of course, Canes legend and one of my all-time favorite players. I mean, I've been on this guy for years, but Max Domi, the guy you knew that was going to get it done, got 2 goals for us. In other news, did you watch any of the basketball this weekend? We'll talk about it with Brian Geisinger later.
The mainstream media is trying to throw the NBA at me. They're trying to throw the Battle of Alberta and the Battle of Florida and the NHL playoffs that are coming up.
Yeah.
I have no time for the NBA. I'm focused on a little bit. The only reason I'm watching hockey is because of the Canes. There's way more other sports out there that mean a lot more than just the NBA.
I will get to that in a second. I will say I'm a little disappointed we don't have Ben Swain and Brian Geisinger.
I saw there was a Game 7 where the home team was losing by 50 yesterday.
Yeah, that was
stupid.
Chris Paul's Phoenix Suns. We need Geisinger in here. We need Swain.
BG needs to come in here and explain his sport and cape up for it, because that is the NBA. I don't want to say the NBA stinks, because I get like the teams are great and there's great players everywhere. But you can't. It's like we talked about the Hornets. The Hornets made the play-in game, and it was like no one thought they had a chance to win, and lo and behold, they didn't have a chance to win. There's nothing. Nothing like surprising happens in the NBA playoffs. Usually the finals actually end up being pretty good for the most part, right? Especially if you have a compelling, like, even though you get LeBron, Stephen Curry like 3 years in a row, whatever it was, there were still like compelling reasons to watch it, and the games were actually good. But the actual playoffs leading up to it stink.
I don't totally agree with that.
There was a Game 7 yesterday where the home team, the team that wasn't the Suns, were the defending. They made it to the finals last year.
Yep.
How do you lose by 40 at home?
I don't know, because Luka Doncic is awesome and he's fun to watch. That's the coolest thing about the NBA is watching.
I don't want to make some grand like. There's no.
We've already made the case that you don't watch it. So
there's no pride. I don't want to say just a blanket. There's no pride in NBA. I don't want to, but there's a lot of instances that happen with NBA playoffs that don't happen in hockey playoffs, for instance. Like if you're trying to compare them a little bit of like just the intensity and the emotion of the games and how close they are and wild finishes. Like this happens, I feel like a lot in the NBA, and I think it stinks and it's dumb.
We need to get a Devin Leary behind the scenes show so the Goodson can feel something again before. Yeah, all you talk about is NC State football. That's all you're focused on. We know that you're not. The cool thing about the NBA, a couple things. One of my favorite things in the NFL is realizing that like all of these dudes are crazy, stupid, elite athletes, right?
Sure.
And then you see Tyreek Hill just running by them. Like that's what I love about the NBA is like they're all crazy good. And then Luka Doncic is just that much better than everyone else on the court right now. He scored 27 in the first half, and the Suns had 27 in the first half. I won't get into the BG breakdown of like what the Mavs did differently on defense against the Suns the second half of the series. I'm just saying sometimes it's cool when it's like, yo, you've got a superstar in Chris Paul and a superstar in Devin Booker, and that dude still is like a tier below the Luka Doncic, Giannis, prime LeBron's, the best.
Give me intrigue. I just looked it up. The last 7 NBA playoff games, all double-digit games.
That's not good.
The Grizzlies won. They won that stupid random ass game by 40. Makes 0 sense. And then they come back and win in a not a game 7, but it was a game where they could clinch the series and move on. They won by like 25.
The Warriors, yeah.
The Warriors. Excuse me, the Warriors. Then we had. I'm going back and looking. The Heat beat the Sixers by 9. Excuse me, not double digits. By 9.
The game before, I think they beat them by 30.
The Suns won. The Mavericks won the last 2 games of that series by 27, and then whatever they won by last night, they won that game.
50.
Friday, I'm going back to the Friday games. The Celtics beat the Bucks by 13, and then the 2 game 7s yesterday, like not even games.
All right, you're making a fair point. We need some more.
And like it's not. Don't give me the well. Luka Doncic is great, and I get that's awesome. But like if Devin Booker is so good and all these other things are so good, like you don't let your team lose by 50. You don't let your team be down by 30 at home. Like that doesn't happen, and it happens a lot. That doesn't happen in like other sports, and it happens way too much in NBA.
That's fair. Looks like Moose is almost finishing up there. All right, so if you're not into the NBA playoffs, you're not that into the NHL playoffs except for Canes, why is this a sneaky great sports week, Goodson?
Tiger plays golf.
He's playing the PGA?
Yeah, he got there yesterday. He's healthy. He might even win.
Come on.
He's healthy.
He's not healthy, and he's not going to win.
He could win. But Tiger.
Where is it? Is it at a course that Tiger plays well at?
He won the last PGA championship there.
Okay, I need Tiger skins.
But it was 2007. But he won the last time there was a major there.
All right,
that's good. No, so there's PGA championship starts this week, and it should be fun. Golf's in like a sneaky good like. Don't need Tiger to be there for it to be like a big deal. It's big. It's good that he's there, and it's good if he's contending. But there's a lot of really good dudes now where there's not like just 5. There's like 10 or 15 guys that you could be like, oh, like that guy's actually really good, or he's won a major before. We have golf this week. We have.
I want a new rule in golf. You ready for that? Well, keep going with your sneaky great sports week, and then I've got a golf rule change.
Golf. Saturday is the end of the English Premier League. This coming Saturday is the final day, and I believe Moose. I know he's listening, but I believe that Man City tied this week, so it at least brought into play that Liverpool and Man City, they don't play each other, but there could be craziness going on with that league race, which is on Saturday. And then the French Open starts next Sunday. Rafael Nadal is going to try to win the French Open again. And also, like, if you're trying to look for a Tour de France, like little pre-Tour de France, we got the Giro d'Italia going on right now, and they're in the mountains over there in Italy.
No. For years, you've tried to sell me on the Tour de France. Now you're trying to sell me on the warm-up races.
It's good. You got to see which guys are in good condition and cycling well, especially in the mountains. It'd be a good precursor for the Tour de France. Great week. It's a shame that the NBA still has to go on. I'm sure there'll be 7 blowouts in the next week in the NBA playoffs that no one will care about, and we'll just watch the Canes play, and that's it.
Funny little side note that Devin Booker is one of the players for the Suns. Do you remember the Devin Booker that played for Clemson that is not the same Devin Booker?
Correct.
I forgot that there's multiple Devin Bookers. Well, somebody was like, Stephen A. Smith or somebody was like, Devin Booker didn't show up, but he tagged the wrong Devin Booker. And the one that played for Clemson was like, yo, I was in Europe. That's where my games are. All right, so Sneaking Sports Weekend, Goodson, you didn't even mention the greatest thing that kicked off this week. I'm sure Moose was out there documenting it because we've decided in society weather people are also our stars and lunar people. But Goodson, what did you think about the lunar eclipse that happened last night / early this morning?
Was it a rare one? Was it something that like did I miss a headline that'll say like this is the first one and it's like the first one since like January? Like that's usually how it goes. We had more lunar eclipses, space station moving across like type deals than we did like 10 years ago. I think it's a scam and it's made up by the astronomy, not the agronomy people, but the astronomy people to get people to care about space.
Moose, what was yesterday's lunar eclipse? Did it have a special name or anything? Or this morning, whatever it was today?
Red Panda.
What?
It was reddish. They should have named it Red Panda. I would have gotten up for Red Panda Moon. Did you watch it? Look at him now. He's just happy. He's just surveying his field. He's like, look at that well-dragged field out there. He's not even paying attention to him.
Hold on. There is nothing in the world more beautiful, boys, than a well-dragged, freshly lined ball field.
My good buddy, you guys remember Chris Combs, the state baseball player, sadly passed away from ALS. His brother was my age, and he was a good friend of mine. And like his hobby, his favorite thing to do was to like mow his lawn perfectly and put lines on it. And then he just this goes back to when he was in high school. He started mowing because he played mostly baseball, and then his senior year he played football. And he was like, dude, I want to mow the field on like game days. I want, if I'm going to play on this, I want it looking tight. And that guy would just love to mow grass. Unfortunately, it's also windy out there, Moose. So we keep getting your wind audio.
Well, yeah, that is unfortunate. And there's a lot of dust, boys. So the drought is currently
it rained all weekend. I was there in drought.
Extreme drought out here, boys.
Nah, I don't believe it. All right, golf rule I want to see changed. Now, to be fair, yesterday I took a drop. Like I played this as I should, right? But I know that some golfers, if you hit into water, but it's like super shallow, they'll like, take off their shoes and get in there and play, right? New rule, if your ball is in the water, but the ball breaks the plane of the water, like you can touch your ball without touching the water.
Part of your ball is dry.
It's surfaced, yes. Then you get to just pull it out, free drop. Like that's not actual water.
Like you would probably play it if there wasn't the issue of like, oh, I gotta like take shoes off and I gotta take that. Like you would have played that shot of like.
If we're deep in sand, yeah, I would just like take a hit. And I'm not even talking about the one you're thinking about, the par 3 that I hit yesterday, where it kind of hit the side of the green of the hill and then trickled in. That was in the water. That was totally in.
What I'm getting at is like, in like if it did not take time and energy and having to like take shoes off and like dry your feet off and like
nobody wants that
down play, but you would every time you'd be like, I would play that ball.
I would give it. So yes, I'm not trying to improve my position. I realize that I can't simulate hitting from water, but if it's the point where if it's breaking the surface of the water, there's a good chance maybe that water's only there because it rained a lot the day before. Normally that would be kind of like a dry part of the creek. Free drops. I just need a rules official down there to look and be like, yes, that ball is surfacing. It's not in the water.
Well, don't you get free relief from standing water in the fairway?
Well, fairway, obviously.
Well, sure, but let's just say if your ball is poking out the top of the water, that's just free relief.
Same thing.
Standing water. Fix your ponds if you want it to be a penalty.
That's the new rule I want.
And I'll say this: there's a certain local media company having a certain tournament at a certain course this coming week.
Oh yeah, I need to register us for that.
They need to roll their greens.
Oh yeah.
Pretty bumpy out there yesterday. We need Moose out there rolling the greens.
Moose, if I buy a golf course, will you do all the lawn maintenance?
You would love it.
100%. I would quit my job today if one of you two owned a golf course and I could do the maintenance.
There's a couple courses that we thought about, like no one. Like they would sell it to us, right? You know,
I mean, we lost Wilmar. If we wait too long, we're just going to lose another, legendary course in the Triangle. So like Zebulon Country Club, I see the housing developments that are now popping up on Pierce's Road in between, the town of Zebulon and where the Zebulon Country Club is. It's only a matter of time before somebody comes in and says, "Hey, I'll give you $10 billion for this land so I can put some townhomes on
Well,
it."
they've started taking tee times perm, right? So
yeah, in the morning,
I think they're getting greedy. So if you just flash a little cash, we can take over ZCC.
All right, Goodson, you buy it and finance it. Moose will do the maintenance. I'll be the guy that works the clubhouse. And when somebody says, "Hey, you want 2 beers?" and you're like, "Hey, why don't you round that up to 6 beers? It's cheaper." And they're like, all right, like that. I want that role, like getting people drunk on the golf course.
We promise we will let you know if our greens are punched and getting aerated. You won't just have to show up there and be surprised when sand's on the green or something like that.
I mean, we might make it free play. But like we'll beers, the price might go up a little bit, but free golf. What if you opened a golf course? Because golf courses, I feel like, give away beer to get you to come, right? They'll be like, your round is $30.
Golf course beers, like when you compare to any other industry, like restaurant, sporting, like going to an event, beers are extremely cheap.
Yes. So we need to change not the aggro, the economics of a golf course. We should start telling people free golf, but start charging like bar beer prices.
So and the beer price. Did you see the picture of the prices at the PGA this week?
Yes, it was like $19 for a Stella Artois or something.
$19 like Mick Ultras and such. But yeah, do that. Like say golf is free, but have a $19 Bud Light. See what happens.
We'll have $3 Diet Sundrop. Diet Sundrop, gross. We'll and instead of cart girls, we'll have cart bookies. Like they'll come around and eat, like they'll have Keno or scratch off or like placing live bets on whatever. Like Kane's starting an hour. You guys are still gonna be out here, but you want to place a bet.
Or there'll be or even better, they can look at literally what the scorecard's going on in your individual game that you're playing right there and set odds based on. All right, for this next hole.
Yeah. Yes.
Goodson, you're giving Permar a stroke. That guy takes basically 10% of the action and moves on if you want to participate.
Or he could just show up and be like, "Hey, pay $1 entry fee. If you hit the green, you win $5 on the like roll up to you on a par 3 and be like, pay me $5, you win 20 if you hit the green."
Yeah. Ooh.
We need to do this. Goodson, looks like you have another good idea.
No,
that's it.
This is it. Like I'm in. Florida during COVID, to get around the lockdown rules, you paid for a $60 meal and
yeah. See, I'm telling you, we could change the economics of golf and just give away the golf and start charging for everything else out there.
Is golf getting too expensive? Like, if we can, okay. So we played this weekend. I never know if I'm paying too much for golf or if I'm just like paying a normal amount, or is it a good price? So like, I believe this weekend and like any other weekend right now, a weekend rate for the morning, which everybody I guess would consider is the most prime time of playing golf.
Right.
At every basically public course in the place that you can go on Golf Now, you were going to pay no more. It's going to be between $50 and $75.
Yep.
Do we think that is high or low or okay?
If you break,
I never know what to base it off of, in my opinion. And the only reason I bring it up is because sometimes I'm pretty good about booking the times.
Yep.
Like I look ahead because I kind of know my schedule, how I can sneak golf into like being a dad and all that. And like it comes out as like I've got a foursome, and you invite people to play, and then you're like, well, like I hope they're okay with paying $69 for this round. And like I've never had pushback, but there is a little bit of I don't care about paying that, but I feel like that's okay. But is it too much? Is that normal or?
No, I think it's pretty. I mean, like you said, you're talking about prime time, so it's like it's a pretty supply and demand thing. You could go to that same course on Tuesday at 3:00 and probably get it for $30, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's just straight up.
Sets the market? Is the market that's kind of what I'm like. That's what it comes down to, right? Like, what's the market there too?
Yeah, if they can raise their prices to $5 on a Sunday morning, but raise their price by $5 and all their times fill up, why not continue to charge that? You know what I mean? I think also golf courses are like, I'm trying to make a comparison. I'm hearing from everybody. Golf courses got paid during COVID.
Yeah.
Like I've even seen some.
But to their credit, I'll let you finish. But to their credit, most of them also took care of the golf course too, in way better condition and way better care than they probably did pre-COVID. There was courses that we would go to in our normal rota, and they would never be like, you knew if you went to, and we could say, let's say Wilmar because it doesn't exist anymore. I'm okay with saying that. Pre-COVID, Wilmar was cheap, and it was a place to go drink beer, and you were like, it might be good conditions, it might not.
Yeah,
like,
I'm not going to complain if like half the green has a fungus growing on it.
But we're not great golfers either, so it's kind of like it's whatever. During COVID, though, it got the greens and such got nice.
No,
right?
Well, I was going to say, forget just the golf course maintenance. I've seen some cheap courses like repaving their, and like putting in new features just to look a little bit nicer.
They poured back in some of the money they got because they were so busy during COVID. Agreed.
Yeah, but now I'd be okay with them reflecting it in their prices. Maybe if you made a bunch of money, like pass it on to the consumer. Maybe charge me $40 one Sunday morning to play. We'll see. CANES series doesn't start until Wednesday. So
we actually don't know if it will start on Wednesday.
Yes, the last series never even started. Let's keep it that way. Let's see if we can win the Stanley Cup without ever playing a series.
I don't think we technically could. I do believe at some point.
Oh, because we got to be the road team.
Florida would have home. I believe in the Eastern Conference we would have home ice over Tampa. We win our series and move on, but we would not have it over Florida, and the same would go. On the West, I believe we would have it over whoever's left, except for Colorado.
I don't like home ice mattering. I like setting ahead of time that the 1 seed gets home ice, and then if you knock off the 1 seed, you get their home ice. Does that make sense?
I agree.
I don't like adjusting. It may not be fair, but as a fan, I don't like it where it's like, dude, you did the thing. If you knocked off the number 1 team, you fill in their spot in the bracket, and you should get all the advantages.
Especially because a lot of times the standings like that aren't necessarily equitable either.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you could be the 1 seed, but be the New England Patriots and play in the AFC East and go 13-3, and you're the 1 seed because you got to play all the crappy teams where somebody in a harder division did not, and so their record wasn't there. I like that.
Yes, home ice bounty. But I guess that would work against the Canes because I guess in theory we have a chance to get home ice advantage if the Lightning win. But under my scenario, the Lightning would take the Panthers' home ice advantage, and the Canes. I just like going in whether or not you're going to have home ice advantage based on where you start the playoffs. I prefer that. All right, Moose looks like he's done. He probably just turned off his camera and went back to drag it one more round. But I saw the large. He's like a medieval dungeon master set of keys, and the Diet Sun Drop that came out that usually signals he's in.
The funniest part about a baseball field that's you just brought up keys. There's like 80. There's probably 80 people who have a set of keys to the baseball field. A local baseball field, or maybe it's like a local tennis court, or it's a local basketball gym. It's funny how it started off with one person, and then they made a copy for this guy, and blah blah blah, and it turns in there's probably literally 80 people that have a set of keys to that like little room where the gator is at the baseball field. Yeah,
which is how the gator gets missing every couple of years. But yes, it starts with we got to keep the key
sacred.
Well, yeah, we can't have a lot of people having it, but then you start realizing some Moose is going to do the Monday maintenance, but I'm going to have to drive the key to him Sunday afternoon and then go pick it up again. I'll just give Moose a key. He's a good dude.
You play basketball. Where do you play basketball usually?
I play at I play at church, and same thing. They do not make multiple copies. One dude has the key for our group.
Interesting.
And if he doesn't, partly because we're not officially part of the church. Somebody rents it from them. But if that person's not there, it becomes a dilemma of who's going to get the key to him? Who's got the key next week?
Y'all got to make extra keys.
No, that's how you do a rural baseball field. That's not how you do a downtown basketball court. They do not want multiple keys out there. All right, for the Weather Moose, maybe we'll talk some more NBA on Wednesday when Swain
give me a good game. BG is not allowed to talk NBA until we have another single-digit game.
All right.
Is that not fair?
We're throwing it out there. I'm assuming between now and
Also, he has
Wednesday.
to be on to talk too, so like it's easy for me to say that today when he's not on here. But he cannot speak again about NBA until there's a game in the single digits. There's been there's actually 6 straight NBA games where double digit margins.
All right. Well, I'll put that challenge to BG. I'm sure
Give me a good game. Make me care. And it's not Luka Doncic. Who cares?
I do. Wait.
Whatever.
I do. I like Luka. All right. For Goodson, Moose, we out.
Sports, when you've got a great ball club. Sports, when you're leaving it all on the field. Sports, when you like your team's chances. Sports, to survive and advance in sports. For the teams you love and the teams you love to hate. Oh, it's Sports Channel 8.